Welcome back to Prime. We continue our discussion on healthy living with a look at Masterpiece Living here in the state of Texas. Joining me today is Kristen McCaig with SQLC and Patience Buchanan with Estaten at Museum Way, one of the communities of SQLC. Hi ladies, how are you?
Hi Ashley.
Good. Ashley. Thank you for joining us today.
Good to be here.
All right, so Masterpiece Living is what we're talking about today. And Patience, tell me a little bit more about the history and background of it.
I'm happy to talk about Masterpiece. I could talk about it all the livelong day. Masterpiece it all started with a research project back in the mid-'80s. It was funded by the MacArthur Foundation, and it was unique in two ways. It was unique because it was the first time they had ever studied aging with the idea of aging successfully or effective functioning in older age. And the other way it was unique was it was a variety of scientists. It was neurologists, psychologists, regular MDs. It was a multidisciplinary team as opposed to just doctors or psychologists studying aging. So it focused on how people age effectively. And one of the things that it looked at was why an 85-year-old might be a champion barefoot skier behind a motorboat, and another 85-year-old might be in a nursing home in a wheelchair.
Which is a great point.
So that was what was so unique about it. From that, in the mid-'90s, they wrote the book, Successful Aging, big splash, very popular book, very optimistic, hopeful about aging, helping debunk a bunch of myths about aging. And from the book, they decided to apply the science to a program, or an initiative, I should say. And so they created Masterpiece Living. And Masterpiece Living was created for senior retirement communities across the country to adopt and lay into their culture of their communities to bring a focus to wellness, to bring a focus to what it means to age effectively.
Wonderful. Sounds like an exciting thing.
It is.
Now, Kristen, SQLC, now why did they decide to bring Masterpiece Living into their community's cultures?
Well, that's a great question, Ashley. Senior Quality Lifestyles has been in the senior living industry for a little over 10 years. It's always been our goal and vision to be the top provider in whatever market we're in, to offer resort-style living in every community, to really draw and attract that active adult to make the move into our community. We've offered wellness programs and fitness classes and wonderful food and, of course, socialization and the very typical things you'll find in any other senior living community. But I think as we headed in a direction of just opening our 5th community this past fall, we are headed into a point as a corporation to really brand ourselves and become a part of something that I think will set us apart from other not-for-profit CCRC providers. We have been very drawn to Masterpiece Living over the years and realized within this last year that by partnering with them, we would be able to provide much more in our communities than just a wellness program. It's a very structured process. It's really a culture change in our communities. Not only do all of the residents truly embrace what's offered and their family members, but the employees all go through just dedicated training to provide the best and to set the example, again, from fitness to socialization to emotional intelligence to possibly academic classes, whatever it may be, to really help us strive, I think, to be the absolute best in whatever marketplace. The other thing that really drew us to Masterpiece Living was the fact that we are the first 5 communities within the state of Texas to partner with Masterpiece Living. So again, as we're that provider here in the state of Texas, it's again positioning us as truly, hopefully, the biggest and best in whatever we do here in Texas.
Absolutely, and that's an amazing feat to say that y'all have done. Now with Masterpiece Living, of course, there's a lot of components that go along with it. But tell me more about kind of the foundation of Masterpiece Living. I understand that there's 4 wellness components that really make it up.
Good question, Ashley. We all think of wellness, just right in your head right now, think about wellness and think about what you think about in terms of wellness. Well, That can be 25 components, it can be 105 components. The brilliance of Masterpiece Living is that it distilled everything to 4 components: social, intellectual, physical, and spiritual. And what they found through the study, and what they have found since they have implemented Masterpiece Living in various communities across the country, is that if you are a well-balanced person in all 4 areas, no matter what age you are, but especially in your older years when people tend to believe that people withdraw, if you are well-balanced intellectually, still stimulated, if you are socially out and about and you have those core people that you can depend on socially, if you are spiritually, and that's not just organized religion, it could mean nature walks, it can mean artwork, it can mean whatever. And then, of course, if you are physically active, if you are well balanced in those areas, then you are going to have a more effective older part of your life. You're not going to be on that long, slow decline of life that we've seen happen. That's your father's, nursing home. The new nursing home, smaller, we don't need it as much, we don't need skilled nursing as much. So having the communities that we have that offer all kinds of events and activities and enrichment, it helps people stay out of the nursing home.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's look at the different tests and reviews, which I think makes this initiative very unique, that the tests are used as measurements for the residents as well as the community. So tell us more about those.
There are 3. One of the things that the brilliant creators of Masterpiece Living did was create 3 what we call reviews. The lifestyle review, a resident and an associate can take that review online or on paper, depending on what their preference is, and it looks at their life. It asks them questions. It's self-reported, so it asks them questions about their intellectual stimulation. It asks them questions about physical activity, about their social life, about their spiritual world, and it gives them feedback. And from that baseline, then they know that maybe they need to partake of some other things that we have at the community to help become more balanced. The second review is called mobility review, and it is performed by physical therapists, because you have to have a professional, and it gives them feedback on how much of a fall risk they might have and where they can beef up. It helps them know where they need to beef up balance training or other types of training that they may need. And then the last review is called the health risk assessment, and it's the partnership with the Mayo Clinic, which brings great validity to this program. And it's self-reported, so people report on things like their blood pressure, their cholesterol levels, and it gives them immediate feedback about, maybe you need to go visit your doctor, maybe you need to look at a few things. So those are the 3 reviews that we start doing, and then we give them feedback, and then we keep measuring them as they live in our communities.
That's wonderful.
And Ashley, I'd like to add that
Absolutely.
I really think these 3 key reporting and measurement tools are one of the main reasons why we wanted to partner with Masterpiece Living, again, for the residents to be able to have access to the Mayo portal and be able to track any health changes or trends that might be happening in their lives. The mobility, if we have the ability to aid a resident and not being a fall risk, and to be able to improve and work with a physical therapist, tools and resources like that, I think, really do set apart Masterpiece Living from anything else out there.
Absolutely, and I think a great thing that you mentioned is the resident is then allowed to take this information to their physician,
Right.
And they're able to talk about it and see if there's any improvements they can make, and then family members can also get involved as well.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
We can't force or twist an arm, to create this wellness 4-component environment in our communities, but if we can provide the access, if we can literally enable a resident to just walk outside of their apartment door and all they have to do is walk down the hall and participate in a class or take that nature walk, socialize with somebody over a nutritious meal, get on the computer to look up health questions or what have you, then then we know we've done our part.
Amazing. All right, so let's get into some of the myths about aging. I know with me and in my few years of experience in the senior living industry, I'm still very new, but I know there's been myths that I had coming into it that have just been completely reversed, which has been amazing. So what are some myths that you come across that people say, you know, as you, you know, meet with different residents and such that just aren't true anymore, that you've seen?
One of my favorite myths that was busted by this 10-year, decade-long research project was that dementia is a normal part of aging. They found that no, it's a very small percentage of aging. Another myth is that you're going to end up in a nursing home. Very small percentage of people end up in a nursing home. The hopefulness of this research was that those are truly myths, because maybe it was a vocal minority talking about these issues, but this study and studies that have followed this up have found that in fact the majority of people can and do live effectively and long.
That's right. I think one of the myths that I'm drawn to in the book is coming from being a senior living provider, is that once you make the move to a senior living community, it's the last resort. That's it. You've aged and you need care. And really, it's our hope to bust that myth and show that by making the move into the community as an active senior, you'll only become that much more active. And I think another one that patients and I discuss frequently is that you cannot make any lifestyle choices as you age.
Yeah,
which is not the case. You can get your master's degree. You can run a marathon. You can ski barefoot.
Right.
Banana George, I know that we've talked about.
Right.
Well, no, and that's very true. And so, what are some other key points that this book makes? You know, successful aging, like you said,
it's never too old. You're never too old to learn. It's never too late to change. The biggest the biggest takeaway from this book for anybody at any age is 70% of how you function in your life is due to lifestyle choices, not genetics. So when they were doing the research, they found 30% are genetic related, 70% have to do with lifestyle choices. And it's never too late to stop smoking. It's never too late to start exercising. It's never too late to start eating healthily. So that's a huge finding and a promising, hopeful finding.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you both very much for joining us today. Like I said, I know a lot of people are maybe scared to age, but you know, as we discussed today, it's something that everyone should and can actually look forward to.
Right.
So
we're all doing it.
That's right. That's right. Everyone wants to age successfully.
Right.
All right. Well, for more information about SQLC and its communities, please visit their website at www.sqlc.org or call 469-619-0825. And we'd like to thank all of our guests today for joining us. And for a complete recap of today's show, please visit our website at onprimetv.com. I'm Ashley Wessel. We'll see you next time.